Hi there, thanks for joining us. It's Kylie Smiley here from the Mobile Marketing Link, and we are live today and very excited indeed. This is video number 14. I'm getting there slowly out of 30 for my Vidtober challenge. I know the end of October is tomorrow here in Australia, but I'm determined to get to 15. So the 30 will come during November, and it's just the way it is. I just got short of time, and certainly things happen. I have a family, and I thought that I could get to the 30, but that's okay. I'll get there during November. So I hope you can join me then. I hope you found the video so far really enjoyable. Today is super exciting. I'll get straight into it. I really have the pleasure of introducing you to a gentleman who has a slew of retail experience and has done some incredible things with retailers here in Australia and abroad. He's totally focused on helping retailers get the best return on their investment and increase sales and service. So focusing on customer service and how your staff really can, if they're trained correctly, they can supercharge your business. And I love that. It's a bit like mobile marketing, where I always say you can supercharge your business, so you can put your business on steroids when you use mobile marketing. Well, if you have a combination of mobile marketing and the right staff, I mean, it's just success. That's basically what it breeds. So without further ado, welcome Roger Simpson. Roger, hello.
Hi,
Hello, there you are.
Hi,
Oops,
how are you
sorry.
doing?
There we go. I'm good. You've just gone a little quiet there, Rog. Are you get your volume up there, or
Yeah, no,
you're all
I'm all good.
sorted?
If I can hear you nice and clear.
Okay, great, excellent. All right. So Roger, I'll just come back here. Roger is the founder and owner of the Retail Solution. I'm sorry, I neglected to mention that before, Roger. But and Roger is he runs his own company and has people working with him as well for retailers. So Roger, if you could introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you. I'd love to know more.
Sure, thanks, Kylie, and thanks for having me on.
You're welcome.
Excellent. So, yeah, as you pointed out, our company, the Retail Solution, we primarily work in retail and help our retailers to improve their service and also sales. We also do a few other soft skills, such as we help retailers to recruit the right people, and by that we just help them with provide training in that field, giving them the tips and techniques about how to weed through a whole lot of applicants to actually find the right people. Because, as I always say when I'm running training courses, if you get the right people, is it going to make your job easier? And they all nod and smile and say yes. So that's a critical one as well. And the other area that we do a lot of work on is helping owners and managers to follow up and maintain service levels, because what I know from having about 25 years in training is that training doesn't happen, or it's been a waste of time, unless behaviour has changed back on the job. And what we often see is people go on to training courses, and then when they go back, there's a holiday period that they might have, or a honeymoon period they call it, for about 2 weeks, and then they go back to what they're doing before. So it's really critical that owners and managers actually follow up and maintain that positive behaviour change. So generally how we do that is by providing training to managers and owners, and we also do on-job follow-up. So we'll often go into stores the next day, straight after training, and help the managers, owners, to actually put in place the training the day after. And that, I think, what sets us apart from other trainers, because I don't know too many other businesses that actually do that.
No.
So it's been really powerful, and it's really about just giving owners and managers the focus on giving effective feedback.
No, that's great. And it is unique. I go into a lot of small businesses that in retail, and it's one thing to be able to get loads of people through their door, But if their staff are not ready, or they're not doing them, they're not serving the business correctly, then it's all in
Yeah.
vain. And that's a lot of expense to go to, isn't it? To have that sort of a result then, to put a lot of
Yeah.
investment into marketing, and then to have your staff just fail you, and that's really, unfortunately, it is a reflection of the business owner that their staff aren't properly trained, even though they might say they have been. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate that some business owners
Yeah.
get caught out, don't they? So,
Yeah. Yeah, they do,
yep, go
and
ahead.
that's interesting. I work a lot with the Beechworth Bakery, and anyone who knows the Beechworth Bakery would know of Tom O'Toole, who's the owner, and he's on the speaking circuit. And a lot of people, because he's got a big focus on training, and he has for the last probably 30 years since he's been in the business. And of course, people ask Tom, well, they say this, or ask them this question: what if I train them and they leave? And of course, his instant reply is, well, what if you don't train them and they stay?
Mm. Absolutely.
And that's what I think we forget sometimes, is that, I guess we undervalue the importance of training. But to me, it's not just training. It's that's the start. And unfortunately, as well, a lot of businesses see it as the silver bullets. They think training is going to fix things. Well,
Yeah.
let's just follow up, and the owners, managers, let's they get involved and attend the training, or at least know what's going on. Because if they can't follow up, then it just tends to disappear. So that's a critical
Yeah.
part.
That's right. There has to be that accountability. If they've invested in training their staff, then certainly, it must make sense for them to then follow up with the staff and say, hey, how are you going with this, today or
Yeah,
this week? And let's work on this particular part of the training for this week or next week, and then go from
correct.
there. 'Cause, without those checks and balances, as you said, it's just like marketing to a closed door. It's the
Yeah,
same
yeah,
sort of. But what I love about what you and your organisation does is that hands-on approach where you actually physically go into the business, and that's also something that sets my business apart, as well as a marketer, to go in and train the staff, and that's where I was
yeah,
having
yeah,
challenges. So having somebody like you there to go, okay, Kylie, I can take it from here, where you're training them, and I found I was training them just basic customer service skills.
yes, yes,
I mean, I'm not qualified, but I just use my common sense and my background, my experience, my training myself. But
yeah, yeah,
just,
yeah,
I certainly couldn't put those things in place with the checks and balances and the actual proper training that they definitely needed. And I think
yeah,
it all
yeah.
starts, even prior to that. It's about the attitude of the staff member, and employing somebody with the right attitude versus the right
Yep.
skills. So.
Yeah, look,
Mhm.
again, so true, Kylie, is that we have a saying, is that you hire for attitude and train for skills. Because particularly in retail, and I'm not saying it's not a skilled industry, there's a lot of
Mm.
highly skilled people in there, but most of
Sure.
the things you can learn. I'd say, probably 95% of the things that are required in a retail store you can learn if you
Mm.
have the right attitude. And what I see as well is that, particularly, and it's interesting, I read a survey a little while ago, where in Australia is that we have a lot of people, when they leave, they actually stay in the same industry. Um, and whereas overseas companies, they tend to branch out into different industries, but not so much
Mm.
here. So what happens is, if you work in the liquor industry and you get a bit sick and tired of that employer, you move onto someone else in the same liquor industry. And that's the challenge for employers, because they'll look for that. Oh, you've worked in liquor before, awesome. Then you've got great product knowledge. Now,
Right.
if your attitude's not
Right.
right, it's just not going to
No.
work. So
No,
just
that's a
trying
great.
to. There's a little bit of pain, first of all, to go through when you get a brand new person, but if the attitude's right, man, they can take you to the moon. It's a turbocharging, as you said before.
Yeah, that's it. Absolutely, absolutely. And
Yeah,
so just moving on a little bit with the problems that a lot of we've touched on a few things that business owners face, retailers face, but
yeah,
to get to the guts of the major issues that they have that you solve. What are those
yeah.
those key components, the major pain that the retailers are looking to you to solve?
Yeah, thanks, Kylie. Look, I think there's a lot of pain in retail at the moment, and some things that are out of their control, which would certainly be competition. And it's interesting, one of my clients, the Just Group, so Just Jeans, JJ's, Dotty, Portman's, Smiggle, all those sort of guys, they're under, it's really tough for them because the big players are coming in from overseas. Your shops, I should say, and Zara and all those, they probably are top shots, I think, and Zara's, etc. So it's becoming a very crowded market, and it's the same in coffee or fast food or whatever you're doing in retail. Someone else is trying to take your dollars off you. So then there's courses online. So big challenges in retail. But I think that the things that retailers can focus on, and one thing I've seen and seen some research as well, is that customer service is a real challenge. And research I saw a little while ago said that service had actually declined over the past 5 years when they asked customers. And so I think we've almost forgotten how to serve the customer, and we're so tied up in technology these days that it's lost the ability to connect with customers. And I think customers are really looking for that now. So there's a lack of focus on service. There's also what I see as well as sales, like additional sales. I don't really think that a lot of staff naturally are good at actually doing additional sales, and there's a bit of training comes in there as well, because there's just different techniques you can use and to actually get that extra sale without annoying the customer. So I see that, and that leads on to measurement, which is around average sale and items per docket or items per customer. So most businesses now have those as KPIs, and they're measuring those weekly, daily, even down by a team member. But often they're not having the effect on the team member. They're not actually increasing that much because it's the measurement or the process, the communication is too complicated. We've got to just keep it simple. And one thing I talk about is certainly on average sale and items per customer, which you obviously want to increase both of them. I said the one behaviour that needs to change there is that a staff member needs to actually offer more products to customers. It's pretty simple, really, if you're going to increase average sale. And it's about talking about if you're going into a clothing shop, it might be another top that goes with some pants the person's looking at, or you go into a coffee shop, there might be a coffee and cake deal. So most businesses have these things, but the staff don't do them very well, and that's what happens. And leads me on to my next point, which is I don't think managers are actually aware of it. They don't actually know whether their staff are offering or not offering, because they don't focus on it. And if you don't focus, as you know, it just doesn't get done. So that's the issue. And I mean, without focus, you can't have follow-up anyway, because they're not doing the first part. So that's the problems I see that I believe retailers, without too much effort, can actually get on top of. And if they start doing that, they can grow their business quite dramatically, even in today's tough times.
Yeah, no, that's so true, Roger. And I I couldn't agree more. It's not as though they have to go and learn something totally new. All it is an extension and having a little empathy about and consideration for the customer, to say, you know what, if I was them, this would be so helpful to me. And sometimes it's just as you said, they're basic, fundamental human things, and we have lost it a little. And you do notice that when you go into retail stores here in Australia, that they are lacking in that really sincere care for the customer. And they're there for their hourly wage, and that's a sad fact, unfortunately. But there are some really interesting businesses doing, just making those few little changes, who are having enormous outcomes that, it's just like going from a good business to a teeny bit over good and you can be spectacular. It's just, it's too easy. But as
Correct.
you said, without the right training, and it's just a matter of making that investment in some training for your staff and measuring it. If you don't put that in place, you can't expect things to change. It's just
Yeah.
like the old saying about doing the same thing over and over. So, I see that as really important, and certainly those problems that they're having, they're going to get worse because there's going to be more and more competition that comes in. There's going
Yes.
to be a lot more complacency with young staff, and
Yeah.
if we, if we let people get away with an inch, they take a mile. So it's trying to help them too, because they have to continue their path for life also. And I think it's a great start for any young person in retail to have the right training, and if they get that training that you're providing, that's hands-on right in the store, then that is invaluable, and that could set them up for a fantastic career in the future as well. And the business owner will only benefit from that financially, time-wise. I mean, all sorts of things come from that as you you teach. So, in saying that, with looking at results, looking at results, are you? Is there someone that you've worked with recently that you could tell us a little about where they were, and possibly after the training where they are now? That would be great.
Yes, yeah. Look, I've actually got a very recent one where we did some work in a bakery, a rural bakery, and they're investing in their staff, and I did some work with them about 5-6 years ago, and she said, look, can you come back and revisit, because we've sort of lost the plot a bit and we've lost our focus. And so I went back in there and again just getting the staff on board again. What we really focus on as a bit of an overview as well is it's just around sort of a customer service process, as I said before, those sales techniques, teaching the managers, supervisors, etc., anyone who's responsible for people, just to get those how to follow up and how to give effective feedback. And the results have been pretty amazing. In this bakery, one of the key focuses initially was they want more customers signed up to their loyalty program. And as you know, all the research tells us that if someone's on a loyalty card, they tend to be your more loyal customers and they spend more money. So why would you not want more customers on? So immediately, I think the week after the training, and when I followed up just to see how they were going, they gave us the figures that they were doing about 5 sign-ups a week, and they jumped up to 40. So 8 times. Yeah.
Fantastic.
And that's look, it was a really, really, really exciting result. And another one that, again, this is a coffee chain in Adelaide that I've done some work with recently. And one of the things we talk about is because in coffee it's pretty fast paced. You don't have a long time for conversations with customers, and so they want to get in and get their coffee pretty quickly. So one of the easiest things there is have a focus product. So a product of the week, or something that's on special. It doesn't always have to be discounted. So this particular business had a product that they were focusing on, and when we measured the results of those focus products, the week where they were on focus, the increase in sales was over 200%. So that was a really, really good result.
Wow.
Yeah. So and it's instant as well, Colin. You're not having to wait 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks for it to happen. It happens the day after, which is very, very exciting. And what we see as a change, because every business wants their staff to sell more, and it's often in their standards. It says you have to try and upsell. Is they're often a common term they use, but they don't give their staff any training in how to do it well. So they have a go, and you'll see this at service stations now. You go in there, and the person just bombards you with questions, and then says, "Do you want any chocolates today?" And most customers go, "Nah." So it's really hard for the person to keep doing it. So we just tweak their techniques, and the change we make, which has seen staff really love it, is we say, don't focus on the sale, focus on the offer. because that's all you can control. Once they get that, they go, oh, sure, yeah, I'll have a go. So that was a couple of examples. And another
Right.
couple of clients I've worked with. So ongoing with the Beechworth Bakery, I've worked with them for the last, I think it's 12 years now, and their
Wow.
average sales, particularly the last 3 years when we've had a big focus on it,
Mm.
has continued to climb, probably gone up at least $1 or $2 over the last 2 or 3 years. So that's been a good result. And another one as well with in the liquor area where I went in and helped a liquor chain here in Victoria, and they had no focus on the counter. They were just doing the usual sort of stuff like beef jerky and shots, etc., off the counter. So we put in place a focused product program around a special on some wine, so like a wine of the week, and do some tastings. And they
Yep.
had 200, 300, 400% increases across the 3 stores, and that
Wow.
resulted in us actually rolling the training out to all of their 40 stores. So that was very
Fantastic.
exciting. So
Yeah.
we've got some great sales measurements and results, but
Mhm.
also just anecdotally some of the really nice things that are coming through. When I do work with the Just groups, as I said before, the Just Jeans, JJ's brands, we work with their regional managers around giving them tools to be more effective in their feedback, and particularly focusing on positive feedback, but doing it in a way that's not just that sounds nice, but has focusing on key things that a manager might be doing correctly. And what they've seen by using that is they've seen dramatic change arounds from some of the more negative managers. They've actually, in one particular result, a store I think was about 20 grand behind budget, and the regional manager used a different approach
Mhm.
using our feedback models, and then I think got them about $30,000 or $40,000 now above budget. So it's just,
Terrific.
and lots of other really good news stories about turning people around and getting great results where they were struggling before. So look, it's really exciting. Well, that's the part I love the most. I love doing the training, and my colleagues love doing the training, but when we see results, that's what's really excites us, because being a part of that, I think is just really very rewarding.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, and I think that's fantastic. And again, you're really impacting businesses that are struggling. I mean, solving that problem, and it's not
Yeah,
rocket science. It's not. It's, as I said before, it's not something they have to learn that's totally different. It's just that they've gotten so busy in their business that
yeah,
you can't see the forest for the trees sometimes, and it's so worthwhile having that third party come in and go, you know what, come outside and just watch this, watch what people do when they walk in your store.
yes,
Let's just do that for 15 minutes,
yeah,
and um, and just by doing something like that, that exercise as well, it makes a huge
yeah,
difference to their perception of things as well. And when you can show them the results of showing staff just one tiny little thing that they can tweak, and then
yeah.
seeing what happens, to the outcome, it's amazing. And I can only imagine how proud and excited you would be to see that result. And certainly the business owner must be jumping out of their skin as well. The regional managers must have been so excited. Now, obviously they were because
Yeah.
they put it in the stores. So, just changing it up, doing things like that. And small business need to take note of that in a big way as well, because, honestly, that's why so many of them fail also, is that they're not investing in training their staff. They think they can do absolutely everything. And they can't. It's not, no human can. So
Yes.
trying to be superhuman is not, doesn't usually serve you well, does it? So,
Yes. Well, interesting that you say that, Kylie, because I just got an article through this morning, and which disturbs me greatly.
oh,
And in Japan,
mm,
and I think it was Nestle, like coffee or
yep.
something. I think it was. And actually they are now having robots serving customers. So you know
Wow.
how that how the Japanese are very advanced in that field, and it's got a
Yeah.
video of a customer coming in and being served by a robot. So that's
Wow.
I really hope the future's not turning into that, because where's the human touch that we're lacking? So wow, I was thinking, oh man, what are we doing?
Yeah. Well, look, let's hope that that could be a result of a massive population. So, with
Yeah,
multi-millions of people in a city, then possibly, when you're in a city where they have to push you into the train to close the door, that
yeah,
that might they need to leverage their time probably as much as possible. So look, cross
yes,
fingers that doesn't happen here. I think there'd be it couldn't happen too soon. There'd be an absolute, revolt against
yeah, that's right.
retailers. They would be very sorry they did it, I think.
Yeah,
But
that's right.
interesting
Yeah,
about the way technology is going to change things as well. And Japan, absolutely, they're the first adopters for most things. And certainly, I know you mentioned that technology wasn't the be all and end all, and sometimes it's a distraction, especially when it comes to
yeah,
staff and they've got their mobile phone attached to them. Again,
yeah, yeah,
like you mentioned, that comes down to standards. And if you set a standard in your business that says
yeah,
no mobile phones while at work, which means not even bringing them into the shop,
yeah,
or bringing them in and they're in your bag, in your personal items away. And if they are looked at during work hours, well, there's consequences. So
yeah, yeah.
and that's the thing. It's just having those standards, having those values, and this
Correct.
is what we believe in our shop, and this is how it's going to be. And if you don't like it, well, you know, there's the
Yeah,
door.
that's right. And it's a really important point as well, Kylie, because I mentioned sort of briefly about standards before, and we tend to focus on service standards because that's around making sure that we greet customers, we smile at them, we
Hmm.
ask for the loyalty cards, we make an offer of another product, etc., and we farewell them. So one of the things we do is make sure the business actually has those standards in place, and the staff actually know what they are, but not just they're on a wall. They actually understand the reasons why customers want us to do these things. So you get a lot more buy-in, and
Yeah.
then there's a whole lot of other things, as you said, that we need standards and processes that staff need to follow. Got to have the rules, but that's the thing where managers struggle to often follow up because they don't know how to give the feedback on it. When a person's not doing what they want them to do, they'll often see it as a confrontation and actually ignore it. So
Mm.
again, the coaching skills, while we tend to focus on giving feedback around service and sales, do cover all those little things that you've talked about. And it's such a simple conversation to have when someone's breaking the rules to get them back on track. And very, very few that I've been involved with ever get defensive because it's not a personal attack. It's just actually mentioning about what the issue is and about and asking the person, not actually telling them, but asking the person why they think it's important that they follow that rule or don't do this or do this or whatever it might be. And so
Mm.
that's we've got great success out of our feedback models, being more than just about services sales.
Wow, no, that's fantastic. And just want to thank you so much for bringing that forward and sort of mentioning how important it is to you know really focus on your staff for the best outcome all
Yeah,
round, really. And
yeah, yeah.
without, sorry,
I just going to say as well, Colin, just to reinforce it, is that like I think fundamentally is that most staff want to do a good job. They don't,
yeah,
the old saying is that they don't get out of bed in the morning and to see how hard they can make their boss's day. That what
no,
happens is that they get off track because human nature is human nature. We tend to cut corners and we
mm,
just tend to do we find an easy way to do it, and not because we don't want to do it. It's just a bit easier, or we get into bad habits. And what the
yep,
coaching does is just break those bad habits and get them back on. It helps to weed out the ones who shouldn't be there. And again,
mm,
that's because what I find is that a lot of clients I work with, and I ask the question when I run training courses, who's had to be involved in counselling a staff member? And a lot of people put their hands up, and I ask them, good process, did you enjoy it? And this is managers, they hate it. No one likes doing that. And what I find is that the gap is often between someone performing and then starting to slip and then getting to counselling is we're not coaching. If they intervene with coaching, you get them back on track, or the person soon realises, you know what, this is not really the job for me, and that's an outcome that I think both parties need to hear. So, yeah, as you can see, it's I got pretty passionate about my coaching process.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's because it has such great results, and it's absolutely imperative. And catching it before getting to that dramatic period where you've got to have a, perhaps a confrontation. But if you're coaching, as you said, if you're coaching and say, right, this week we're going to focus on this, and even though you might know that it's something that you want to, that you want to improve in the person, it doesn't have to be focused on them. It can just be focused on the process and focused on that particular task.
Correct.
And let's get this right. And this is how we'll do it from now on. How does that sound? Get their buy-in, get their feedback, get their ideas. And that's really important as well to have that two-way conversation with them and make it their idea even. So that they're totally vested in it, and they'll do it. If they're not asked and they feel it's their idea, they'll go and do it. So, I know I do. I can be a plain seal, no problem, that way.
Did right. And also just on that, Kylie, as well, is that a couple of things to add in is that, reasons why owners don't do that is because they think it's going to be a long conversation, but we have an option to give feedback, which is obviously when you just give one piece of positive feedback. The other is what we call improvement feedback, where you're getting them to change a behaviour, and that takes maybe 20 seconds to maybe 30 seconds maximum. So it's not long in between customers. And the great thing about offering improvement feedback is you want them to then serve the next customer and do it right. And then, of course, you praise them. And staff love it. They go, oh, thanks.
Yeah.
And, we can be thinking, you should be doing it anyway, but at least we've now got them to do the right thing, and the challenge is just to maintain it, and that's where the follow-up comes in. So, yeah, very exciting.
Yeah, it is very exciting. Thank you so much, Roger. We'll leave it there. But
absolute pleasure, Kylie.
What was that?
I said absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you. We must get you back again, I think, to talk about some of those coaching and some difficult conversations you have to have with staff, and also maybe we can talk about how they can really help their managers and owners integrate really good marketing practices to encourage return customers. So that might be a good one to really focus in on as well, because that's where I find that I have some challenges where training the staff to engage a new marketing campaign, and it's just well, what's in it for me? And so that's something that, would you be open to having that as a hangout next time, perhaps?
Yeah, for sure. I could be number 16 for you, Kylie.
What was that? It must be the accent. What was that?
I could be number 16.
Good, excellent. I still didn't understand it, but it's all good. It's okay. All right, now, Roger, how are we? If there's people on this call that want to know, how do I get a hold of Roger?
Yep.
So how do we get a hold of you?
Yep. Then go and check out my website, of course, which I think is on the screen, which is www.theretailsolution.com.au, and you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You'll find me on LinkedIn, so Roger Simpson. And if you want to give us a call, just give us a call on 1300 950 301. So it's 1300 950 301. And love to take your call, and even just if we have a chat, if you've got any issues, I'd have a brief chat and maybe give us some more tips if you need some.
Fantastic, because I know you've got loads of tips loads and loads, which could help retailers and small business owners in general.
Yeah, no
Great.
worries.
Thanks, Roger.
Thanks, Kylie.
Okay, bye. Great. Thanks a lot
Take care.
thanks, Roger. All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming along and being with us live. If you're here live, hello, and thank you very much for attending. We really appreciate your time. And certainly, if you'd like to know more about the Retail Solution, please contact Roger at theretailsolution.com.au, and certainly please subscribe to this channel by clicking the subscribe button below. Leave a comment, let us know what you thought, and certainly go ahead and forward it to somebody you think might appreciate the information or get to know Roger a little better. And stay tuned, because we'll be seeing Roger again, and possibly his colleagues, as well as retailers, to let us know straight from the horse's mouth as well exactly what changes they've made to improve some of the problems that they've had, so that they can help you as well. So without further ado, thank you again. I'm Kylie Smiley from the Mobile Marketing Link, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great afternoon or great day, great night, wherever you are, and again, a very profitable week. Thank you and take care. God bless. Bye-bye.